Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I was trying to start, but the commissioner is talking to students, so you can't start the program while the commissioner is talking to students. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the Ulster BOCES Career Academies at iPark 87. What a wonderful day, what a wonderful crowd. Thank you all for being here. We've got some thank yous we're going to start with. First and foremost, thank my family, my wife, my two children, and my mom is sitting here. My dad is looking down. When you decide to do this type of work, you give up things. And you need a team behind you that is ready to be by your side as you're going to commit to the weeks and weekends. And so I love you guys. Thank you. I'd like to ask the Ulster BOCES board to stand up for just a second. Any of our component superintendents and their board members to stand up for a second. This project, which is so much bigger than just the school, is only possible because of the trust and support that you have put in me, your confidence and support as component superintendents. This is what it looks like doing the right thing for students, so thank you. My Polaris, that's our cabinet level leadership team, I get to stand up and talk about vision, and they handle the ground floor and lead it. They are passionate, they believe in the vision because they are co-authors in the vision. So I am grateful for all of you, your work, your time, your sacrifice. Thank you so much. Our career pathways, programs, staff, teachers, custodians, maintenance, support staff, thank you so much for living out the magic inside the classroom, which is where we know the work mostly matters. Appreciate everybody's patience and willingness to pull this forward as we still continue to set things up and figure out what it's like to live in this new facility. So thank you all so much. Thank you to the leadership at CPP, and thank you to our student interns who worked all summer bringing this space to life. Thank you so much. Special shout out to two of the leaders who have for months and months on end, along with many others, lived here, literally from morning through night every day, making sure that all of the details were taken care of. So Peter Harris, Joe Salamone, you gave up a lot to make this happen, and really appreciate just what you've done. Thank you. Thank you to our partners at National Resources. I know we're going to get to hear from National Resources, but early on, folks thinking about this developer who we were going to form this relationship with, they are in it as part of our community each and every day as stewards of the vision. So all of the folks at National Resources, thank you. A special shout out to the National Resource staff member who may actually be more of a BOCES staff member at this point, but Darden on the ground floor. This is, you believe in this. This is yours along with us, and thank you for pouring everything that you have into this project. It means the world. Thank you. We've got some amazing partners who have really stepped up to help think about what needs to be in this space. Not in this space as we think about what career and technical education used to be, but the future vision of career and technical education. Snap-on, Train, Lincoln Electric, Fastenal, Mohonk, our longtime partners at the Council of Industry, and all of our other partners here. This is just the beginning. Thank you so much. I'm almost through the thank yous. To Commissioner and SED leadership, our Board of Regents, thank you for giving us the landscape to dream bold and new. I'll talk a little bit more about that when I actually do my remarks. This is not that part. But thank you, Commissioner, for your leadership. It is the tone that you have set that allows us to paint the picture within this landscape that you have rolled out for us here in New York. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you're my boss. And really what it's all about is our guests, our families, their guardians, and the students. So thank you, students, for being the center of everything. All of our decisions must always remain in what is best for students. So thank you. I'd like to call up really quickly Marty McGill and Mark Harris of Allendale, and on behalf of Kathy Lumen and the Gene Haas Foundation, this is the definition of partnership, not this act right here, but what has happened over the last years as we have worked together. Peter and Amanda come up for this. We're going to need our business official or function with this as well, but the Allendale and Kathy Lumen and the Gene Haas Foundation are presenting a donation today for $1 million.
I was kind of hoping I wouldn't have to come up here and say anything, but the reason I'm here today is Mark Harris. I met Mark Harris 20 years ago. He was running the advanced manufacturing program. Through Mark, we developed a partnership with Allendale and Haas Automation. This $1 million represents their recognition of what they feel is one of the best career and technical centers in the United States. And they send their congratulations and their best wishes, and I appreciate that we're a part of this. Thank you.
So there are so many others who deserve our gratitude, our elected officials, superintendents, Board of Education, industry and community partners, and of course our dedicated staff. And rather than continuing to read through the list of names by names, we have a lot of people here. I want to use the rest of this time to anchor us in what this is truly all about, our students. And so I want to begin by recognizing our two Ulster BOCES Board of Education student representatives, Elizabeth Harris, a Highland student who attends the New Visions CTE program, and Arnaldo Umana, an Onteora student who attends CITL Port Ewan and also our Career and Technical Education Center. So come on up.
Welcome, hello and welcome. My name's Arnoldo. I am happy to be here and represent not only my community, but Ulster BOCES. Without Ulster BOCES, I wouldn't have my connections with my community, the Ulster BOCES Board of Education, and opportunities to be able to stand here with all of you and be able to represent all the students that don't have a voice. The one thing that Ulster BOCES has done for me is helped me build my career in law enforcement and has increased my desire to be in this field and serve others. I'm glad to have my family who is supporting me, and I have been chosen to be a representative for the BOCES Board of Education team at Ulster BOCES. Without the support of my family, I wouldn't be here, up here, being able to speak with all you lovely people. My skills have improved through these programs at Ulster BOCES. I am able to now speak in front of crowds and be able to communicate with my peers and adults and advocate for myself and others. My hope is to guide those who are interested in law and public service to assist them in becoming better versions of themselves and guide them into the next chapter of their lives. I would love to thank my teacher, Mary Kaiser, my teacher at CITL, and she has pushed me and helped me to build my skills. And if it wasn't for her hopes in me, I wouldn't have known about all my chances. And special thanks to Dr. Shanker.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for attending. As a student who is passionate about learning and growth, it means the world to be a part of a team that pieced together this building. Spending my summer not only acquainting myself with iPark, but also voicing my opinion as a student on what would be most conducive for learning felt meaningful and fulfilling. To be a young professional in the first year of students attending iPark feels like breathing life into this space, but also into Ulster County and our beautiful Hudson Valley as well. The failure of iPark in its original IBM iteration caused a great dip in countywide performance, wealth, and opportunities. iPark used to represent a popped bubble of economic promises, but now, as the product of so much dedication and effort, Ulster BOCES will bridge those economic and academic gaps. I hope that each of you in attendance takes away at least one aspect of our success to implement into your personal and professional philosophy. Perhaps it's the height, light, and exposed systems that create calming and productive environments. Maybe it's the intra and interoperability between classrooms and ideas. Hopefully, it is the cooperation and collaborative spirit of each person and team in this building. I truly believe each of these aspects have created the space you see today. I'm proud to be a part of such an amazing project, and even more enthusiastic to be a voice for students throughout the county. As a BOCES student, an ex officio board representative, and most of all, a young professional, please enjoy the space and celebrate a huge milestone for not just Ulster BOCES, but Ulster County as a whole. Thank you.
So, good afternoon. It is an honor to stand here with all of you today at this moment that is about so much more than the opening of a new building. It is the unveiling of a new story for Ulster County and perhaps for New York. Today we are cutting more than a ribbon. We are cutting ties with old ways of thinking, siloed systems that too often limit opportunity, and we are stepping together into a new education model, one that places students and their families at the center of economic mobility, workforce development, and community revitalization. I would like to take a moment to recognize and remember a critical partner and co-author in this vision, someone who believed in the message and movement we have been after. Joe Cotter, the former president of National Resources, I know he is looking down and smiling today. For 3 decades, this site stood abandoned as a constant reminder of what was lost when IBM closed its doors. But today it is alive again, not just with machines and with assembly lines, but with brilliance, creativity, and resilience of our young people. Over 20,000 students across Ulster County and their families are now the foundation upon which we will build our future. The Ulster BOCES Career Academies at iPark 87 are not about trying to re-engage a workforce years down the road. They are about graduating students who are already engaged, they are already skilled, and already prepared to design the futures they deserve. This work is also the gateway to the next chapter, repurposing our former Port Ewan site to expand opportunities for all Ulster County students who come to Ulster BOCES to connect, to learn, and shape their futures. The second phase of our school expansion project, supported by our county superintendents and boards of education, will establish a new Port Ewan campus dedicated to providing dignity and opportunity for students with special education and therapeutic needs, ensuring that every learner is able to see themselves reflected in their school experience. This is what it means to invest in hope. This is what it means to believe that our young people are not only the creators of the future, they're also the architects of the present. We know from New York Inspires, which is the new educational framework being implemented across the state, that redefining what it means to be a graduate in New York, that education must be about more than compliance and credentials. It must be about living out the values of equity, belonging, and purpose. It calls us to design boldly, listen deeply, and create systems that honor every learner and centers the newly adopted portrait of a graduate. These are the very skills that our instructional models are built around at Ulster BOCES. Here at iPark 87, we are answering that call. These career academies are not just classrooms and labs. They are ecosystems where students co-design with industry leaders, where learning connects directly to real work, and where diplomas open doors to careers, home ownership, entrepreneurship, and civic leadership. We cannot ignore the environment we live in. Division, cynicism, and scarcity thinking too often dominate our public conversations. Too often we are conditioned to critique before we celebrate, to see what is missing rather than what's possible. But today, let us name clearly, it is right to build belonging, it is right to center young people, and it is right to choose hope over fear. This is not about politics. This is about people, about what every family wants for their children: safety, opportunity, dignity, and the chance to live a purposeful life. When we choose to invest in students first, we change not only the trajectory of their lives, but of entire communities. That is what makes today so historic. The Ulster BOCES Career Academies at iPark 87 are more than a local project. They're a lighthouse, a model for what is possible when schools and government, business, higher education, and community come together around shared purpose. We are sending a signal today. Ulster County is leading. We are leading with a blueprint that is replicable, scalable, and transformational. Today, we are ready to reveal the next step in that journey: the Ulster BOCES Future Forward Framework, which can guide others to achieve this beautiful vision we have brought to life for the students in Ulster County. This is not a prescription, it is a codified process, a human-centered playbook designed not only for us to lead, but for others across New York State and beyond to access, adapt, and make their own through their local story and context. This framework offers a process for the work, the critical questions that must be asked, the tools and templates to lead it, and the courage to shed what no longer serves us. It is a reminder to leave behind adult egos and old ways of knowing and being, and instead come together, harnessing the voices at the table while always asking, who haven't we heard from yet? This playbook centers our future on what can be and helps us move past the thinking of why we couldn't or didn't. It is about possibility, belonging, and courage. So let us mark this day not just with ceremony, but with commitment. Commitment to building systems where every learner belongs. Commitment to ensuring that opportunity is not the privilege of a few, but the birthright of all. Commitment to raising a next generation that will, without question, be better than we are. This ribbon cutting is the beginning of a new chapter, one not written with fear or failure, but with confidence in our young people. Together, let us celebrate what is right, and let us get to work on what is next. Thank you. I would like to invite Christopher White up to say a few words. Thank you so much. SUNY Vice Chancellor for Workforce Development and Upward Mobility.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shanker. Appreciate it. What an incredible, incredible turnout in an incredible space at an incredible time of need for training and education. I want to definitely say thank you to all the speakers today, to Congressman Ryan, certainly to County Exec Metzger, our incredible leaders from National Resources and others, Commissioner Rosa, of course, a dear friend. We go back to my days when I worked at the Department of Labor. I come from SUNY administration, so we work on behalf of all our different campuses across the state, and I bring you greetings today from our Chancellor, John King. I oversee a new office at SUNY of workforce development and upward mobility. And as I look around the room, the opportunities here in Ulster County, I think this is the absolute embodiment of what upward mobility looks like in New York State. iPark 87 is a testament truly to what can happen, as Dr. Shanker said, when we bring together the right partners, when we bring together industry, when we bring together education, P-12 and higher ed, when we bring together partners in government, and all of our community partners changing lives every single day. The future really happens here, and it happens in a couple different ways, particularly through real-world pathways brought together by partnership. And I think that is at the core of so much of this. Not just theoretical pathways that sounds good on paper, it looks good on paper, sounds good in theory, but real world things that actual people can take advantage of in their lives. And I think that's truly what BOCES embodies and what Ulster BOCES embodies and what this facility really can show for folks. And I think pathways really are brought to life by partnership. Partnerships like some of our SUNY campuses. So SUNY Ulster has an incredible P-Tech partnership with our Hudson Valley Pathways Academy, connecting students directly to colleges and career pathways. That's really exciting. I think SUNY New Paltz, also an incredible campus here in the area, doing a lot with teacher preparation, right? Making sure the future workforce for our teachers is incredible, making sure we're doing great leadership training as well across the region so the next generation of education or educators and leaders are prepared. The future state for a facility like this, I think the sky is absolutely the limit. I want all of us to think of what can happen on a campus like this, what can happen in a facility like this. I have seen a lot of models across the state that are starting to come together, finally, because today we don't have a choice. We all have shared missions in all of our different organizations, and they are aligned like never before. The need is massive. Think of all the AI taking place out there, infusing and changing every single job. Think of all the automation, the new technologies. Every single job has changed and is going to continue to change. And if we are not preparing our young people and our communities and coming together to make that happen, the future will not be bright. But facilities like this prove that the future is incredibly bright. So what are the pathways? What are the partnerships for tomorrow? There are so many opportunities out there, truly, and it is such an exciting day in Ulster County. This is such a great opportunity to come together, to grow our economy, to strengthen our communities, to amplify our region as a whole, and to prove that this is a truly great place to live, work, and learn. So thank you to everybody who made this possible.
So at this time, I will call up our county exec, Jen Metzger, who has been one of the gatekeepers, one of the partners to make this possible. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I could not be happier to be here today to cut the ribbon on this reborn space, where some 1,400 Ulster BOCES students now pass through those front doors every school day. They bring with them their energy and enthusiasm for new skills and new experience to prepare for meaningful careers in our county and our region. This day is of great symbolic importance for our county. For the old IBMers who worked here back in the day, and for the rest of us who passed its abandoned buildings for years, to see this major step forward in this campus's revitalization is incredibly exciting and overdue. I want to start by acknowledging our Congressman, Pat Ryan, who jump-started the rebirth of this campus when he was in the position that I now hold. This wouldn't have happened without you, Pat, so thank you. I was happy to pick up where he left off and worked with the governor and ESD to secure a $10 million Restore New York award to revitalize this campus. We did the big check last year, so, but I do want to thank the governor, Governor Hochul, for her commitment to our county and for her partnership. I also want to recognize and acknowledge Dr. Jonas Schenker, a great partner, and his whole team, really, at Ulster BOCES, for taking what was really a leap of faith to realize a new vision for educational space that encourages collaboration and cross-pollination among students and disciplines and across the many partners who are essential to a thriving economy. Businesses, government, community partners, and our institutions of higher learning, SUNY Ulster and SUNY New Paltz. To Ulster BOCES students and educators, I know this is a work in progress and there will be growing pains as you adjust to the new space, but you will learn, grow, and shape this space as it continues to evolve, making it your own. That is incredible to be part of that creative process. Your talents, your aspirations, and your future are the foundation of this work. This space, once a symbol of economic decline, is now full of promise, purpose, and opportunity for thousands of young people who walk through these doors. And it will draw new industries and job opportunities to this campus to access the skilled and capable workforce we are creating here. These are distressing times for our country as a whole, but here in Ulster County, we remain united in our commitment to investing in our communities and local economy, and in our most precious resource of all, our people. Thank you very much.
So in another amazing partner, call up Lynne Ward from National Resources. Again, as I shared before, National Resources is not just the developer, they are a partner in this vision, and this is the first step. So thank you.
It's bittersweet for me standing here today. I sign my name as the President of National Resources because we lost Joe Carter. But today I am happy to introduce you to William Joe's son and Diane Joe's mother, who are both here in this space. My remarks are to the young professionals, to the students. The rest of you I meet all the time. These are the people who I will only meet today, and I am so happy. You are welcome here to iPark 87. Ulster BOCES has a great new home. Enjoy it. We are challenging you to own this opportunity. So going back a little, of course, IBM began innovating here. They had a great number of people. Somehow they ground to a halt, but now there are 1,400 new innovators here. And I must also mention Archtop Fiber, who were here before and who are part of the fabric of the entire place. So I think we have a great future with all this innovation. In fact, one of my colleagues made a remark today. It was Dan, our attorney, a product of the state of New York's education system, who made the stunning remark to me that this is actually AI-proof here, because what's going on here are real jobs by real people running ahead of AI. So I think we need to look at this facility in light of that. Here's the deal. Dr. Schenker went through great trouble. He and his BOCES team brought government, the education czars, and the business sector together here to get this thing going. He brought together many partners from industry too. That is called a private-public partnership. Now, of course, there's a lot of money stuff in that too. That means the public sector thinks the private sector should put more money in, and the private sector thinks the public sector should be putting more money in. But it is a private-public partnership, and we've all devoted countless hours to making this one work. You are the students. You are here to learn and to lead. You get economic mobility. This is your part of the deal. Of course, you have to work for this, but you do get economic mobility because you get to an employment opportunity, you get to grow your family wealth, you get to grow your community, and that's how you get to thrive. So there's the other part of the deal. We see demand for all your skills here. We wouldn't have built this if we didn't think it had a great end purpose. Frankly, there are lots of things we can do, but this is unusual for us. This one, we could clearly see where it was going. We're very pleased that you will soon be out in the world with your new technical know-how. That, for us, will prove this model. It will prove it for us and for Dr. Schenker, and quite frankly, this looks like a franchisable opportunity to me. But we will definitely do even better as we copy it and as education goes on. It's the definition of success. That's what we're celebrating here today. Now, the secret is that this was, of course, the vision of Jonah and Joe. It was the work of Danny Darden from our firm, and Dan. We specialize in Dans. We don't have Johns in our company. We have a lot of Dans. They're interchangeable, by the way. And we are supported here by some very important people, the trades. We were supported by Empire Electric, by United HVAC, by F&A Plumbing, and by Rockland Fire. And everything we built here was crawled all over by the town of Ulster and looked at. So imagine the amount of work that was put in by the local jurisdiction into this too. And to these young leaders and students who are going in this direction, you're in for that along the line as well. So that's the picture. I, of course, am here just to take the credit. I did nothing. It is absolutely true. I'm here to take the credit today. And I venture to say that there are a few politicians here just like me. Thank you very much.
So one of our partners, who we are now neighbors, really excited to have Shawn Beqaj from Archtop Fiber, again, as neighbors, as our legacy on-campus partnership, and you get to follow Lynne Ward. Yeah.
Can I pick a spot, or can I pick a spot to talk? No, I thank you so much, Jonah, for this opportunity and the privilege of sharing a stage with amazing people. And Lynn, thank you very much for setting expectations for me. But one of my mentors and the founder of our original company said, if you can't be compelling, be brief, be on time, and be gone. So I'm on time. That's 2 of the 3. Let's see if I can get out of here. We have been, and I think back at the moment, right outside there in that parking lot where we first met Joe Cotter, about 5 minutes of talking to him, we committed to moving in and starting the company, and here he is, a compelling human and a good friend. And so thank you, Joe. We started here about 3 years ago in a borrowed space while we had an idea for a company. We just passed 130 employees, and some of them BOCES trained employees, and are thrilled not just to be a co-tenant, a roommate, but part of the future of this organization as we share a program to feed that continued growth. Many of those 130 people either worked in this building, and they almost all have family who worked in this building at one point. So it is an absolute thrill to be part of the solution of turning this from something you drove past, and maybe with an eye roll, to someplace that is a true destination. And to do so with an industry like a broadband provider, a competitive broadband provider, which brings hundreds of millions of dollars of investment into the infrastructure of the region, high-paying jobs, and better, cheaper, faster service to every single, we're past 60,000 potential customers at this point, and growing like a weed. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you for the privilege of being here. And we look forward to being your partner for a really long time to come, Jonah. Thank you so much.
So we didn't know if we were going to Zoom him in, we were going to get a pre-recorded video, but our Congressman Pat Ryan is in district. I'm so happy that you're here. I really am. This is really important for you to be here. As County Executive pointed out, none of this would have happened without you planting those initial seeds and doing the work, and you've just been a tremendous advocate for what's right, so thank you.
I'm looking Lynn right in the eyes after her comment. She's not wrong. She's not wrong. She's not wrong. Seriously though, what is so powerful, good afternoon everybody, by the way. What is so powerful about today is how many people, how many fingerprints, how much vision and energy and love, and how many generations of this incredible community that raised me have brought this all together. So I am very, very honored to be in this space. I remember, how long, was it 2 years? When did we do the groundbreaking? A year ago, which is incredible also. A year ago, it was dark in here. There was like a blue light, I remember, for those of you that were at that event. It's just absolutely stunning. It is absolutely stunning. And I could not be prouder just to have the chance to say a few words, Lynn. And to me, it's a little bit weird, but bear with me for a second. This morning, I was sitting down at the Rondout on the bench down there, and kudos to our mayor, Mayor Steve Noble, because it just looks beautiful down there. And that is where my Irish ancestors got off a boat. We don't quite know exactly the circuitous route, but they decided to come to Kingston. And the two words that I think were on their mind that tie us to where we are today are, I think, deeply American words, which are hard work. Hard work is the thing that we can all still agree on is what matters and what we need to support and what we need to sort of create the conditions for people willing to do that. And then I think about my grandpa on the other side, my mom's dad, who no high school education. He actually didn't finish high school to go serve in World War II, like so many incredible patriots. Came back here, and IBM at that time was a very different company, and companies were very different, big companies at that time. And he worked here 36 years. He might have worked in this building. Worked hard work. That's what's always, I think, been so special, the grittiness and the tenacity of Kingston and Ulster County and the Hudson Valley. And then, for my parents and really for my generation, our generation was kind of the first one that just felt the rug pulled out from under us when IBM left. I think I was in 3rd or 4th grade. And then, yeah, as so many have said, decades. And I think it's important to say decades. Brian Cahill knows this especially. Decades of driving by and feeling all the emotions that went with that and still go with that. So I think it's particularly important that I felt, at least when I had the honor to be your county executive, that if there was one thing I wanted to try to take some risk on and lean in on, it was that our generation and future generations would say, we're not gonna drive by this place anymore and feel down. We're gonna drive by this place and envision a future for our kids and our grandkids. And that meant taking a lot of risk, putting out a vision which is not going to go exactly as you can draw it up, of course, but to see this momentum and to see this come together, I think is really validating that taking risk and then putting in the hard work is still the formula here that we need to be supporting. And then to think about convening this team that we have here. And I'm really, really honored to have Joe Cotter's family here. I still remember driving down to one of his other projects, and trying to coax you all to come up here. Lynn will probably never forgive me for that. And just the sparkle in his eyes on a freezing cold day a few years ago when we stood out under that clock tower, and his willingness to see this and what a lot more that's going to come here. We're so appreciative. I'm so personally thankful to have just had the chance to spend a good amount of hours with your dad and with your son, ma'am, and our community will be forever changed, truly. So we're just very, very appreciative of that. All the other partners that you're hearing from, and I have to acknowledge, Jen, I left a lot of things that you've had to pick up and do better on. And I'm so thankful for you and your whole team that have leaned fully into this. To the EDA, the Ulster County EDA, that have put for no pay and lots of late night meetings, put your heart and soul into this. Our county legislature, the town of Ulster, all of our partners at the county, to have the state here, to have the chamber here. Of course, Dr. Schenker, I want to just say a word about you that I think has to be said. Talk about hard work. Everybody put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I was out here when Peter was in his boots and the whole team was out here knocking walls down and everything else. But that takes vision, and to guide this through multiple school boards for approval, we all can appreciate how hard that is. To take on tremendous personal and reputational risk, really, to say it is so easy to give into all the things that could go wrong. Like, of course, and some of them have, and more probably will. But your personal leadership and willingness to stick through that, these young people that are here today, to see you guys come up and crush it in your remarks, I hope you know and appreciate, and I hope all the tens of thousands of young people that will come through these doors appreciate. That is directly because of your leadership, and so thank you for that. So last thing, I promise. People have used all kinds of different metaphors and analogies. We've talked about steps, we've talked about all kinds of different things. I really believe this is a giant leap. It is a giant leap for our whole community. And it's a leap in which, again, at first it felt like, I don't know, are we gonna make it to the other side across this huge leap? We have made it today. I really, really believe that, because it's only gonna be forward momentum from here. So the last call to action, coming back to what I started with, hard work. There are, and I understand that from a place of good faith, people who will have doubts, and people who will question, and people who will say it's not going as fast as we want, and it is, isn't exactly as we said a few years ago. With all respect, that's not what we need here. We need hard work. People willing to do the work, people willing to be positive and constructive and work as a team. And that is what has gotten us to this point. And if anybody wants to discuss that, I'm happy to have a conversation. But that is what we owe the young people who, if you all could stand up for just 1 second. This is for you guys. You guys are doing the hard work. So that's what we owe, that's what we'll continue to do, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for those words. Thank you, everybody. We'll bring up one more speaker who we're going to end with Dr. Betty Rosa, who leads New York State in thinking about education and students. And so I thought appropriate to bring you up last to share a couple of words with everybody here. Again, thank you so much for your bold vision and permission to try things, make mistakes, try again. It's really incredible that emanates from the department all the way down. That's not easy, that's intentional, and I'm so grateful that I get to work in this position in service of your vision, so thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So let me just start before, Lynn, if Jimmy Kimmel is canceled again, we know we have a position for you. And I know everyone in this room will certainly submit your name because you have talent beyond belief. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'd like to start by acknowledging and asking our Board of Regents 2 members that are here to stand and to take their rightful stand, because these are 2 women representing 70 members that truly, truly inspire. Talk about New York Inspire our work. And I am so grateful for your leadership on the Board of Regents, and for the fact that every single day, every single meeting, there is their encouragement to keep moving forward and to keep making sure that what we do is not just from the humanity perspective, but on behalf of the success of all of our children in this state. So thank you. Again, you know, it's been a day of gratitude and being grateful. And of course, I am absolutely grateful to Dr. Shanker, who, by the way, I know I've had some other BOCES in the room, and they always talk about the fact that they've heard this story. You know, my grandmother had 37 grandchildren. And I used to say to them, she would always speak to them and say, "You're my favorite, you're my favorite," you know? And Lynn, all of them used to believe it till I would say to them, she's lying to all of you because I'm her favorite. So those DSs that are in the room always believe that Jonah is my favorite. And they do. So, and I'm sure Jonah goes around and saying, she tells you when she speaks to you, you're her favorite, but I'm her favorite. So, first of all, I want to start by saying that and I was here, Pat, if you remember, we were in this dark room, we were coming up, the light was, and then we went outside and you know, everybody kept saying, a year from now, we'll be back here. And here we are. I mean, it was just an amazing, and if you remember, it was a little cold out there trying to get enough shovels and everything else. So it's just wonderful, you know, it's just a wonderful experience to come back and see the reality. So I want to just share a couple of quick, words and talk about, as Jonah talked about, the issue of New York Inspire, and you did see our roadmap of transforming education, the alignment of the Board of Regents in terms of the work and the extensive statewide engagement in terms of the work that we have to do. We are very, very much committed to making sure that, as you have talked about, the issue of connecting our students to not only civic education, but also the idea of economic development. And truly, the issue of New York Inspires really, truly gives us an opportunity to take our work in terms of multiple pathways, making sure that our students' gifts and talents become the reality and become acknowledged in a system that for too long has really left behind so many students because of having what I call, instead of a superhighway, having single lanes. And so our work is to emphasize equity and opportunity and to plan and design as our architects, many of our DSs and our other superintendents are really engaging in meaningful, rigorous learning in multiple ways to demonstrate what students do, know, and can exhibit. Now, the one thing I do have to say is that I am so proud of our young people who have joined the board of, their board as board members, because they have committed, as we've had several conversations, to make sure that people really truly have an understanding of the portrait of the graduate, New York Inspires, and the work we're trying to do to ensure that our students really take the learning. And in a place like this, it isn't just about the learning, it's applied learning. It's taking the standards work and applying that learning. And that really creates opportunities for engagement, excitement, enjoying what they do, and also making it relevant, and really truly giving our students the brushes, the canvas, and having them paint that beautiful tomorrow, which creates their portrait. So 87 matters in terms of not only New York Inspires, but their focus on proficiency-based learning, their focus on rigor, their focus on that application and opportunities to give our young people the advantages of being economically sufficient and experienced and dreaming. And so it is our call to action in everybody in this room to make sure that we all, not only as we cut the ribbon, that we make sure we stay connected, we stay focused, and we make sure that the purpose of a place like this, which really sends a powerful message not only of belonging and being intentional, that this can be created for many, many places and many, many students throughout this amazing state, so that they can continue to build their portrait, their tomorrow. And so with that, again, I just want to say one of my favorites. I'm so proud of the work that you have done, and you continue to do beyond this work on behalf of our state and our mission and our vision. And so with that, I do want to end not only with a statement that I love, that Eleanor Roosevelt talked about: the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Thank you for that.
So on behalf of the Ulster County Regional Chamber of Commerce, we are delighted to be here for this ribbon cutting. Although it is symbolic of the beginning and the grand opening, it is much more than that. It is a real symbol of the connection between students and business. And on behalf of all of our businesses, it is our goal with our partners to find employment opportunities for every single graduate of Ulster BOCES.
I just want to thank everybody. Again, I am truly honored and grateful to be in this position, to my Board of Education, to Commissioner Rosa, Board of Regents members, to everybody else in the room. Thank you for your guidance, your vision, and entrusting me. It's because of your support that I'm able to do this work. At our groundbreaking, Congressman Ryan said, "I like ribbon cuttings more than groundbreakings." Well, we delivered on that, Congressman, and we delivered with the strength of a community standing behind us, all rooted in the same purpose: our future, our students, Ulster County. So thank you. This truly is legacy work. I will now invite Assistant Superintendent Mr. Peter Harris up to just share a couple of closing words and talk to you a little bit about the student guided tours, so you can explore the rest of the building and have some snacks as you make your way out on this beautiful Friday afternoon. So again, thank you so much for coming here and choosing to be here with us. Mr. Harris.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to take a moment to personally express my gratitude to each of you. To our community and industry partners who provided the input, the resources, and the encouragement that brought this vision to life. To our team of leaders and the amazing staff in Career Pathways. Particularly, I want to thank Joe Salamone and Darden of National Resources. You quite literally moved a mountain and built the future here. Together, we've proven that going on an expedition not only gets us to our destination, but also builds identity, community, and trust along the way. The Career Academies at iPark 87 have been guided by 3 simple but powerful design principles: height, light, and visible systems. These principles shape the form of this space, and they also reflect the openness, the transparency, and forward vision that define our work together. Today, as you tour the facility, your hosts will show you how these ideas come alive in all of the design that is all around you. You'll also see something, the expeditious and momentous redefining of the former IBM space, now reborn in this first phase of opening. Some of the spaces already feature the tools and technologies you'll see on the tour. Others will soon be filled with advanced technology, engaging design, and industry-defined innovation and finishing touches that match our identity. A welcome center with natural maple wood feature wall symbolizing the bounty and grandeur of the Hudson River Valley. A Shangam conglomerate stone-top chef's table and our world-class training kitchen, where we will host you and your guests. A glass-faced meeting space designed for huddling, planning, and partnering that you can share. All this underscores a simple truth. The Career Academies at iPark 87 belong not only to the young professionals who come here to master skills and develop their identity, but also to you, our industry partners, our community partners, our families. The young professionals who walk these halls are the very ones who will power the Hudson Valley's workforce and shape its future. At Ulster BOCES Career and Technical Education is not just a program. It is a force that will vitalize Ulster County. We will serve as labor gap fillers, workforce developers, an engine of economic growth and opportunity. We are putting a community of learners to work. And we're creating a meeting place, a living incubator that builds momentum for the future. So I invite you to join us. Work alongside Ulster BOCES and iPark. Take space here. Help us shape the next chapter of workforce development at the Career Academies at iPark 87. And now, it's time to move from words to experience. We'll close the ceremony and begin tours of these new spaces hosted by our young professionals and our leadership team. There'll be 6 tour groups, each guided by 1 intern and 1 ambassador. And I invite you, tour guides, to rise and identify yourselves with a wave of your hands. Perhaps you're already on stage. Together, they will help you see the spaces through the eyes of our emerging talent and our dedicated leaders. Thank you, and welcome to the future we are building together.